All right, so this is episode number 2. My second guest needs no introduction. Started in the car business in what year, Oliver?
2019.
2019. Number one salesperson at your store pretty much all year round. Moved into finance. Top PVR per copy in the region. And I gotta say, Oliver, you got the best origin story. How old are you? And tell us how you got into the car business.
Um, 23 years old. My brother got me into the car business. I was in community college. I had just graduated high school. Wasn't enjoying much what I was doing. Brother said he was making good money. Drop out. So came into Land Rover. Got me in. Started out as a porter, just moving the cars around the showroom. This, that, taking them to and from wash and managing how the showroom layout kind of is. And then I think a week before the shutdown, the COVID pandemic, was promoted to product specialist, then furloughed for
Right.
a month or two. And then they brought me back, and that gave me the opportunity to get into sales and never looked back, man, really.
Were you doing any type of work before you got into the car business?
A lot of like odd jobs, waitering and Costco,
Oh, wow.
Lowe's. I've had a lot of jobs, man. I've been working since I was 15. From 15 to 19, I probably had like 12 jobs.
Gotcha. So when you first got in, like, did you see yourself already, selling cars before you got hired as a driver, or did?
No, um, my perception of the car business was kind of probably what I would say everyone's is. Like I vividly remember making fun of my brother for being in the car business. I thought it
Right,
was like dead end.
right,
And then even when I got hired, I knew the what the plan was to get into sales, but you have this self-doubt, and I guess I didn't believe that I could do it until I got my foot in the door and I'm watching the other salespeople and I'm like, they could do it.
right.
I guess I knew the type of mindset that I had, where if I had the opportunity to make a good living and control my own income, like, and then seeing the guys that are already in position doing it, if they could do it, then I definitely could do it, and
Wow.
probably better.
Pretty much you're saying that you didn't come into the car business knowing that you're just going to be a driver, or maybe have like a job for the next year or two and then
Yeah.
move on to something else.
Yeah.
You already had a game plan in mind coming in as a driver.
Well, I dropped out of college, so my interview, or my GM is telling me, like, this is a stair step plan, whatever, whatever, and that's what I liked about it, was that there was a long term goal to work towards. It was plan A, and there wasn't really a plan B. So
Right.
it was this or bust, kind of.
I got to tell you, I mean, 4 years now in the business from where you originally started. It's a big jump from driver to finance manager.
Right.
What were the things that you did as a driver? Did you do extra work?
Yeah, I would always try to stand out. My shift started at 8. I'd show up at 7:30. They wanted all the cars lined up in the front, but we really only did it when they told us to. So I took it upon myself. I'm going to show up 30 minutes early, and I'm going to line up the cars in the front. Which, by the way, in my orientation, they said this is your daily task. One weekend, I realized we don't do this at all. So I took it upon myself. I said, let me see if I could stand out in that manner. And then just little stuff like that. But it was really my brother who told me, like, just always look busy and try to stand out from the three. I didn't think people were noticing. There was a few days where I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, I'm showing up at 7:30. No one's there. So I'm showing up 30 minutes early.
Right.
I'm cleaning the snow off all the cars. It's freezing. I got no gloves. I can't afford to buy gloves. I'm making $12 an hour.
Right.
And I just vividly remember this one day walking in, and my GM's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I just looked at him, and I'm like, like I could shed a tear, dude. It was like one of those days where
Yeah.
my what do you call it? Like, I was tested, and I was like, dude, geez, man, is anyone even noticing the work that I'm putting in?
Hmm.
I was the first one in, last one out, making sure everything is clean. But it was easy. To me, it was easy because I was just doing what I was told to do without being told to do it.
Right.
I mean, you just doing your job makes you look like a superstar.
What were your hours when you were working there as a
So,
driver
8 to 5, but I would show up 7:30.
and leave at 5:30, 6?
Usually 5:36.
How long were you doing that until you made the move to sales? Did they offer you the position, or did you just say, you know what, I want to move up to sales?
Well, next was product specialist, which they
Oh,
offered like
gotcha.
4 months later, and thankfully, like going back to the whole competition between the three, this is a competition that I'm making up in my head
Hmm.
between me and the two other drivers. The management thought it was a clear landslide who should get it, so I got it. Again, just trying to stand out, and then they moved me over to the sister store. He told me he could get me into sales in 3 months after I had just been promoted into product specialist. And
Right.
the upside that I saw in it was that I was the only Spanish speaking person there.
Did you get a lot of Spanish speaking clients?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's insane.
So how long did you sell cars over there?
I didn't know this, but I checked my LinkedIn 2 days ago. It was 2 years, 11 months. It was 3 years.
Oh,
It
wow.
went by fast.
So you were a driver for how long?
4 months,
So
5.
a driver for 4 months or 5.
Product specialist was then like, he told me 3 months. It ended up being 8.
Oh,
I
okay,
still break his
gotcha.
balls about it to this day, but
Right.
it ended up being 8. But I needed it though, like you can't too fast of progression
Right.
isn't good either. And I think most people would say that my progression has been way too fast, and I somewhat agree. For most people, yes, it would be too fast.
Right. Do you remember your first client?
I do. Well, it became a little bit so when I was a product specialist, I took it upon myself to start taking ups. So I wasn't allowed to,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to be into sales so bad. And again, he told me 3 months, and we're on like month 5 now. So I'm like, dude, you got to start training me. And I'm like, because you can't just wait until someone does it. People forget, you know what I mean, about the promises that they may make. And he's also a busy guy, so he has a bunch of stuff going on. So took it upon myself. It started out as Saturdays. Saturdays are the busy day on a dealership. I would just start taking ups, dude. If there wasn't
Yeah.
a delivery going on, and the salespeople were all tied up, I could take an up. That
Oh,
was
wow.
a non-formal agreement because we never spoke about it. He just saw me doing it, but he loved it, dude. He loved. He
Right.
couldn't believe I had the balls
Right.
to
So you
go
just
grab
grabbed the
customer.
customer.
Just start talking, dude.
Yeah.
Just started talking. So this gentleman was like, well, I would always say I'm not a salesperson, but let me help you out. Da, 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 da. So I take him to go show him a pre-owned SVR, right? And we're talking back and forth, and he's talking about pricing, this, that. I don't really know what to say. I'm just kind of trying to keep the conversation alive, and he could see the green, like I was so green. He's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "I think I was 19 at the time, or 20." And I'm like, "I'm 20." And he's like, "This is crazy, dude." He's like, "I'm gonna buy this car.
Wow.
I need you to do something for me." So then my GSM comes over. We ended up discounting the car. I don't know what it was. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our first car I ever sold.
Do you remember the commission on that car?
I didn't get paid.
Oh,
I didn't get paid.
why? Why didn't you get paid?
Because I was a product specialist.
Oh, okay,
So
gotcha.
they just gave it to the
Wow.
salesperson, and it was
Wow.
like, "Yeah, but you get to do the delivery for." But I had no idea like what you could even get paid on a car at that point, and I didn't even. I guess I didn't even care. I was just on this high, John, of like,
Mhm.
oh my god, I just sold the car.
Right.
I didn't care how much it was for. I didn't care if it made money. I didn't even know. I don't even know what making money is in a deal.
Right.
I don't know anything.
Right.
I was just literally what was going on was I was coming to the desk. GSM is saying, "What did he say?" I tell him what he's saying, word for word, and he's like, "All right, now you're gonna say this. He's gonna say this, and then you're gonna say this." I'm going out there. I'm telling him, I'm saying what he told me to say, word for word. The guy is saying back to me, word for word,
Right.
and it's like he knew this whole dialogue.
Right.
So to me, it's crazy.
Right. So do you remember your first month actual being a salesperson?
Yeah,
How many cars did you sell?
19
cars your first month?
cars.
Wow. That's
had-
strong.
I had 10 cars out on the 14th, and the GM comes in to one of the sales meetings. He made it a point. He's like, "Oliver's got 10 cars out, guys," and everyone had like 3, 2, 4.
Mhm.
You guys better pick up your pace because this kid's coming for you. This kid's coming for you guys.
Right.
And the best part is, I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
I had no idea what I was doing, and I think that's something that's very important in sales. Is that when people, and even speaking from my own experience, as I progressed in sales with more time and knowing more about the business and I guess I want to call it like a know-it-all, where you know what you're making in the front, your reserve, this, that. That's when you really will see a slowdown in selling. I think my early success was 100% was I was just meeting people and I was just trying to sell a car, dude.
Right.
I didn't care. I didn't care what it was. Could have been a Porsche, it could have been a Volkswagen, could have been an Evoque, or it could have been a full size. I was treating everyone the same. Everyone the same. And you know, some salespeople, they don't want to take an Evoque
Right.
lead or a Disco Sport lead, whatever it may be.
What differentiates you and the other people as far as what you think? Because if you sold 19 cars, and what was the next up from 19?
The next salesperson, maybe 10 or 12.
Like 10. How do you sell 9 more cars than a veteran that's been at your store for, I don't know, for years?
I think it's very simple, John. I think it's just hunger. I think it's hunger. Like at that point, like everything had come into fruition that I wanted to happen. And I kind of made up this false reality, which then I guess became reality, where like everyone's doubting me.
Right.
They don't want me to succeed, this, that. And I was just hungry, dude.
Yeah.
Like going again, that was plan A. There was no plan B. There was no, oh, I sold a full size, so let me go disappear for an hour or two.
Wow.
It's just I sold the full size. I gotta sell another one.
I love it, man. I mean, like I said, I've seen the tremendous amount of growth you received within the first 2 to 3 years, and you know we can all see it, how like
Yeah, when I
hungry
met
you
you, I
are,
was a
how
product
driven you
specialist.
are.
Sometimes it feels like a movie script or something.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know.
What do you think about finance?
Finance is great, man. Finance is a lot of fun. Finance is a lot more fast paced, I would say, because I mean you're sitting down with the customer for 30 minutes max, and then there's another customer, and there's always another deal, you know. Whereas opposed to in sales, you could be working one deal for 6 months on these orders, a year and a half, 2 years now, you know.
Right.
So it's a lot more fast paced. It's very different, very very different. The responsibility is insane. Probably a lot more than I thought it was. Kind of like I've told you before. Like I get it now. Like the finance man, like the cranky finance manager thing. Like I get it now.
Right.
It's a lot, man. It's a lot, but it's fun. Most importantly, I'm having fun with it. It's a new experience. A big learning curve. You've been helping me every step of the way, and I'm greatly appreciative to have someone as seasoned as you. I always have fun when I feel challenged and when I feel like there's a lot to learn.
That's great.
So,
So I guess I didn't cover this. I just want to backtrack real quick. So as a driver, if anybody were to be interested, what is the average salary you think that a driver would make? And it doesn't have to be at the Land Rover store, but usually average annual income. What do you think they'll be expected to make?
like 40 grand,
So 40 grand.
30 something grand.
I see. Product specialists will make more.
As a product specialist, I was probably making like 4 grand a month. On
4
a
grand a
good
month.
month, 5 grand, I think.
What do you think top salesperson like yourself would make at a Land Rover store selling 19 or 15 plus cars a month?
Well, I can only speak to the market that we've been in
Right.
the last 3 years. If I were
Experience.
going back into sales
Yes.
in 2024, the benchmark would be 350.
350.
Going from $12 to 4 grand a month, which is I don't know 60 something grand, and then so the increase and in pay was
Yeah, like 3-4
insane.
times of
Yeah,
being a product specialist. Yeah,
yeah.
that's huge.
I'll never forget my first commission check. I didn't know how to read it. So there's your commission and then there's your bonus. So the commission line was grand, and he's like, "Yo, take a look at this." And I look at it, and I'm thinking in my head like, "Yo, I want to make like crazy amounts of money, man." And I'm like, "Oh, man, it's all right." You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm like, "All right, cool." And I just go right back to the phones, and I'm picking up the phones. And this was at his desk.
Right.
Picking up the phone, I start calling people. He comes over, and he's like, "Yo, dude, let's go for a walk." And he kind of gave me the reality check of like, "Dude, this is a lot." First of all, I read it wrong. It was grand. So the commission and then bonus.
You missed the bonus.
grand.
Right.
So that changed a lot.
Right.
He brought it to me and he's like, did you not see this? I go, yeah. And he's like, dude, it's grand. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I grabbed the paper. I'm like, I just made grand in 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, this is insane, and you have to realize that this is a very large increase in income. And he's like, and you need to be grateful and thankful for every single moment. And I was 100%. 100%. I felt like an idiot because I couldn't read the commission sheet, but that was a good surprise,
Right.
for sure.
Obviously, at your age, even $200,000 plus it's a lot of money. Well, 150 is a lot of money. You made
100.
more than 150. 100 is a lot of money.
If you would have told me when I graduated high school that I'd make $100,000, I'd be like, shit, I hope so by 30.
Right.
You know, I hope so.
How many friends do you know that still go to college or graduated college make more money than you?
Very few.
Very few.
That went to college, very few.
Mm-hmm.
But my friends, my core group of friends, I've kind of, they all dropped out of college. I have one friend that's doing very, very well. Well, the other friend is doing very well also, not to diminish him. I have one friend, he's an entrepreneur. He has his own business. He's doing amazing. Graduated high school with me. I have another friend, same thing, went to trade school. He's in construction. He's killing it.
Do you regret dropping out of college?
No.
What are your ultimate goals?
Within the business?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have my own store one day. I think that would be cool.
Like a general manager position?
Like a general manager position. How fun it will be, we'll find out when I get there. Again, the reason why I wanted to get out of sales was I kind of almost got, it got redundant to me a little bit. And I was coming up on my third year. My lease portfolio was about to flip, so I knew my fourth year was going to be good. But I was like, I don't know, I kind of want a challenge. And then the opportunity came, and it was next up. So after finance, what's next?
I know you said like after selling cars for a little bit, maybe you got a little bit bored or, felt like doing the same thing over and over again.
Right.
What's different about sales and finance, in your opinion?
Sales is very personable with the client. Like you could really get to know someone, again, because you're spending a lot more time with them.
Right.
Finance, really your client is the salesperson. The customer is there for 30 minutes. And then one thing that I didn't realize about the finance position was it's legit 99% paperwork, 1% selling.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sell. I like people. I'm just
Right.
a people person. So that's when I'm having the most fun. So the most fun in finance is when you're presenting a menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then so it's like this big roller coaster, and then it drops.
Right.
And then it's back to the paperwork. You got to clean up the deal. It's a lot of paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
The interaction part of it with the clients, what's fun about it in the finance process? Because you literally only have, 30 minutes of your time with them in your office. 25 minutes of that is just signing paperwork. Bro,
Yeah.
like you said, it's
Yeah.
really, not much
It's
with the client.
insane. It's insane.
Mhm.
And it goes to core selling where, you have a very short amount of time, a small window to make an impression. I mean, when someone walks into the door, they're already deciding whether they like you or not. And it could be anything. It could be your haircut. It
Mhm.
could be that you're bald and I have hair. It could be you're older and I'm this baby face.
Mhm.
I've had a few customers call me like, yo, you're a baby.
Right.
About it,
Right.
Um,
So Oliver, when you sell cars, right, you got to do the meet and greet, you got to do the walk around, and then you got to present the numbers, and you got to do the close, and then if they don't say yes, then you got to grab a manager and things like that. Obviously, in finance, you don't have a manager that you can really
fall
go
back
to,
on.
right? So everything is on you, and you don't have that much time with the client either. How do you first build a relationship with them? When do you, present the menu, ask for the sale, or how does that work?
So when I was in training for finance, I was shown 2 different ways. I decided to go with Johnny's way because it's superior, which would be the menu first. Now, the menu first is pretty intimidating. I remember even sitting through my first delivery with John when I was just shadowing him, and I was like, dude, this guy's got balls of steel, like straight into it, like, yo, this is 10 grand, and that's your payment. And the customer's just like, okay, and I'm gonna go with that. And I was just like, what? Because I mean, even going into finance, it's intimidating finance is very high pressure.
Yes.
And finance, it's a lot of talk, like PVRs and per copies and
Right.
and what else? Product count and
Yeah,
this and
penetration,
that.
yep. Mhm.
Penetration, yes. I don't even know. I'm 5 months in. I don't know these terms still.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of pressure, and I feel like finance managers like to compete. And so going into it, I was like, dude, what if I can't sell?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? I could sell a car. I know I could sell a car just because I can make you like me. But this is a different type of selling. It's almost like you're selling on insurance, and you're more so selling on logic than the person. They're not buying it because of you. They're buying it because you're the way you're making it make sense. You know
Correct.
what I mean?
Yes.
So it's very intimidating, the menu first, but by far, I mean, it works, man.
Right.
It works. I think from what you've told me and what a couple other people have been seeing in me is that I'm doing okay. So
No, you're doing great. Yeah.
I think it's working. And my only gauge is the people around me. I take people with experience very seriously because they've been doing this a lot longer than me, and they're much smarter than me in the field. So that's the only thing that I could gauge myself on. I wouldn't know if I'm doing good or not. to be
Right.
honest with you.
What do you want to make next year as a finance manager? I want to make this much money.
Well, the next hurdle is
Correct.
so that's
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'd say
What do you think about car sales? Do you think it's a good business for people to try as long as they have passion?
I think car sales is the best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. Like it showed me there's a different aspect to having no ceiling on your income, and it's a sense of freedom, but with that freedom comes your own choice, right? So you could show up to work every day and you could bust your ass, or you could show up to work every day and sit on your ass. So I think car sales is a great. I would recommend anyone to do it. Honestly, you can make a lot of money. You could learn a lot about yourself, and you could learn a lot about people. And in life, I truly believe that everything is sales. So getting yourself into a salesperson job at a car dealership, great, great. It's cutthroat. You meet a lot of shady people, or just not happy people. There's a lot of not happy people in this business.
Right.
But you make of it what you want to make of it. You know what I mean? If you're headstrong and you know who you are, you'll be fine, dude. You'll be fine. I've since myself, I've gotten 3 people into the car business just because they've seen what I've made of myself. Not that I'm this ultra successful person, but just what they've seen what I've made of myself. And I said, yeah, absolutely. You should try it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You should try it. You make more than some dentists. It's insane. It's insane. But there's top salespeople and there's what I call bodies on the sales floor. You know,
Right.
so that the best part is you get to decide who you are and what you're going to make and your destiny. So I definitely recommend it
That's
for
great.
sure.
And what has the car business done for you?
It's changed my life. Completely changed my life. If you would have told me that I'd be able to have the nice things that I have now and make the income that I make when I dropped out of college, even, you know, knowing that this was plan A and there was no plan B, I didn't think plan A would be the sweet, you
Mhm.
know. And I know there's peaks and there's valleys, you know. The last few years have been peaks. The valleys may be coming soon, but it's amazing, dude.
What kind of sweet things do you have?
I've got a nice watch. I've got a nice car. Some nice suits. I was able to buy a rental property
Mm-hmm.
off of selling cars, which is amazing. Listen, I think the whole purpose of this sit down and the questions was to kind of display what's possible if you really focus your mind on something and you don't give yourself too many avenues to back out of your original plan A. You know,
Mhm.
if you really say this is what I'm gonna do, and you're cornered, your back is against the wall, and that's how I've felt since I got into the business, and even every time I get promoted, I feel like that way again. I feel like I have to prove myself again. So constantly chasing, not feeling comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
just push yourself to be the greatest person that you could be, and always hold your integrity, and never fold on your morals. I would say, for sure. And the money will come. The money will come. Believe me, the money will come. You do things the right way, and you get yourself into a good business. The money will come. And that good business that I'm talking about is sales of any kind.
Right. Great stuff. Yeah, Oliver, I appreciate all the great feedback. Thanks for coming on the show, and yeah, I hope
Thank you for having me,
we can
brother.
do this again sometime.
Yeah.